welcome everybody to Conversations in Ken's Cafe. We've got May Moon with us talking about pot fights. So this should be a really interesting conversation because we're talking some professional wrestlers and then pillow fights. What, May? First of all, introduce. I'm used to calling you Asia, not May, but introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Well, my first name is Asia. May is my middle name. You can call me whatever you like as long as it's nice.
Not late for dinner,
for,
right?
Say that again.
Not late for dinner.
Also not late for dinner. That's correct. I was almost first at that dinner table this evening. We actually had a great dinner. We had pulled pork. It was pretty good. It was put in the smoker for like 17 hours or something crazy. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, and I missed that. Oh, that would have been good. But May, introduce yourself.
So I'm the owner of Three Happy Cats. We've come back. We did last year. We did the Mom Cup 3, and this year we came forward with the 42 Live and the 420 Cup. Yep. And we will be live September 1st in Vancouver at the Victoria Community Hall. And we will be beefing it out with people that we may have previous issues with, that maybe we just couldn't work together with. And we're all coming together for a free party. We have some fairly famous pop people coming together to do these fights. One of them is Skunk Funk versus Karen Jones. Cool. That should be a very interesting battle. There'll also be a plant fight, which is Scallywag versus Mad Matt. That's already actually commenced. It's happening in the Emerald City Extracts grow room, which is pretty cool. And then we have myself versus Neil Magnuson. We are actually not going to be physically fighting. We're going to be singing. I'm actually not the best singer, so I have my friend Beamer who's going to rap for me. I have put most of the compilation together. It's a pop parody.
Isn't that cheating? Poor Neil. You know, you're pulling in the ringers here, Asia. What's going on?
We had some issues at 420, but instead of, I guess, remaining mad at each other, I've challenged him to a new song, and I've created a song to battle it up on the stage. We also have, there's one more fight, and I don't know why I can't think of it off the top of my head. Tim Powers, which is Kind Selections, versus Turf Fire, which is Ryan Mailman. So that's a really fun one as well. They've definitely got some old beef they need to settle. Now, it's a mix of different fights. So it's not just, banging each other around. There's also a pillow fight. There is a water fight. There is a rolling contest. There's a few things that you need to get through in order to get to the finish line. There's 10 competitions you have to compete in order to win. And then there is one ultimate challenge of pot fights, and that will be announced at the end of the evening.
Right
on top of pot fights, we also have the 42 Live, which is downstairs from the community hall. And that is a cup that consists of 42 people, 42 judges. Those tickets are for sale, but it is entirely free to go throughout the building. So, if you're low on cash, just want to have some fun on that Friday night, come on down. It's completely free to get in. But those joining us at the 42 Live get to enjoy all of these different samples. There's 3 categories. We have flowers, we have extracts, and then we have edibles. And they have just a couple hours to try everything in the bag and determine who the winner is live on our camera, which will be your camera, funny enough.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to coming down there and doing some sampling myself, but really to show people what's going on. We're going to be trying to get out for the water fights, and I like the pillow fights. I don't know why. I just like pillow fights. I always have.
Funny enough, Karen was like, what if I can't hit? Blah, blah, blah. And she brought up, let's do a pillow fight. So I bought some really fun pillows so that can be done. They can throw them around at each other. They're fairly soft, so I don't think there'll be any damage done, but we'll see.
Pillows, we can get some pretty serious pillow fights going on.
They could get pretty serious. That is true. As for the water fight, everyone gets a white t-shirt.
Okay. Everybody gets a white t-shirt. So that should be
targets on the white t-shirt as well. So it's like We have Opus 420 and Brent Ray Fraser that are coming in as our referees. They're also our hit count gentlemen for the evening. So they'll be making sure all the hit points are brought in and they're able to do a non-biased tally for everyone else to get a look at. It's going to be fun. We have some people from the underground, some people from the licensed producer or the legal area coming in all to participate together. We have a
Mhm.
couple vendors. Oh, and we're also having dinner together. I almost forgot the best part. So Rachel will be doing dinner for everyone at the 42 Live, and those that didn't join us for the cup can buy dinner and join us as well downstairs.
Cool.
We go from 4:20 until 11 p.m. It should
Okay.
be a pretty cool. There's snacks, there's food, everything you could possibly need at the event as well.
Yeah, and we've got somebody actually, Jason Line 512 is suggesting, can we get a strain name fight like Gary Payton versus Peyton Manning?
Um, Funny enough, I actually have some different strains that will be competing against each other. That is the Medman versus Scallywag fight. Jeff, it's completely free to come. Just show up unless you're joining us for the 42 Live. But yes, these plants started from seed. Some of them are feminized, some of them are not. So there's a couple videos of them being sexed, issues they may have had, all of their triumphs as well. And they will actually
Mhm.
be physically competing with us at the actual event. And there's a couple different strains from both growers. And we'll
Cool.
have a chance to let them battle it out that way.
Right on, right on. And like you've got a whole bunch of different samples for people to try out. Tell me a little bit more about your samples, and I'm gonna ask about your sponsors.
Okay, so the samples, everyone brings what they want to enter to the cup live. Though if you're not able to make it, you can send it in the mail. We need 42 pieces of whatever you're entering. Do keep in mind that you have to work within the mailing restrictions, aka the law. But we
Yep.
will either divide it for you, or if you are kind enough to pre-put it into 42 pieces, they will be in each sample bag for all the judges to be able to try. And
Hmm.
like I said, you've just got a couple hours to try them all, so it should be a pretty good smash up of all the all the strains. That's for sure.
I'm gonna try to keep my brains and my wits about me, so I'll only be doing a little bit here and there, but I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are really going to be enjoying that.
For
Um,
sure.
and Jace is, when do I judge at the event? Because everything's coming in fresh at the event, and I think that's really the best way to have it. Because the fresher the herb is, like John Burfello, I think he's one of your sponsors as well. He's always talking about the water activity in our cannabis, and that's something that's really important. I can't smoke dry weed. I just can't.
I find weed has to have a certain kind of, I don't know, stickiness to it. If it's too dry, it definitely burns my throat. That's for
Yeah.
sure. And if it's too wet, it doesn't seem to burn either. It has to be that perfect
Sweet
consistency
spot. It's
for
like,
sure.
I hate to put it this way, like finding just that right spot when you're giving your wife a massage that just makes her tingle all over. It's that sweet spot. It's got to be right there.
Yeah. So on the topic of it being live, so the difference between the 420 cup and the 42 live is the 420 cup you can take home, where the 42 live you have to physically come to the event to be
Yeah.
able to enjoy it. So to answer Jay Frost's question, you have to physically come and then you can judge it live at the event.
Yeah. Yeah. Which makes sense, right? And like we're trying to keep this everything 100% legal, and that's one of the reasons that I'm trying to promote more events, especially the legal events, because we're coming together as community, and this is something that we need to push this back into changing the laws into our favor. We did it with medical, then they've kind of played around a lot with the rules, and I think we need to bring it back to that community of standing up together. And that's what Pot Fights is partially about, what the 420 Live events are about as well. Can you tell us a little bit more about your sponsors right now? Who've you got lined up?
I'm actually really excited because some people had said that they weren't going to work together ever again. And I was like, listen, you get to fight each other in a ring and, like do all these competitions. They're like, okay, I'm in. So I managed to get the original Hi Guys to join us. They have not only purchased a table, but they're also entering the cup as well. So they're going to let us try all of their cool stuff.
Cool.
Matt Hunter Medicinal is another one of our sponsors, as well as entering the cup. So we truly thank them for that. Fresh Hash Co. is also another one of our sponsors and entering the cup. The Weed Fairy is yet another one of our sponsors and entering the cup.
Cool.
And then we have Bovida, who is supplying us with all of our little humidifiers to keep our weed nice and fresh so it doesn't dry out. Like you were saying, has to be a little bit,
Yep.
just needs to be that right humidity to be perfect. And then we have Heisenherb. They are not only purchased a booth and a sponsor, but they are also entering the cup as well. So we thank you all very much for helping getting this event together. And those sponsors made it so that there were no general admission tickets. They wanted to make sure that everyone could have a really good time. So they put enough money together to basically pay for all of that. And then, yeah, you guys just get to come and enjoy yourselves. And that's
enjoy the event and like, hanging around outside and watching people in white t-shirts get sprayed at. I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Some of the people, when I told them that you got a white t-shirt with your name on it, they're like, what have you signed me up for? It'll be good.
Fun.
Oh, that was one fight I forgot about. Original Hi Guys versus Golden Coast. I don't know how I could have forgotten that one, but they are also hopping in the ring as well. The only one that's not actually live is Scallywag versus Madman, and that's because it's their plants that are competing against each other, and then we get to be the judge of who the winner is of those plants.
Yeah, and that's the benefits of having some breeders come in like that, and really it can be a real good testing ground for people, to highlight what they're doing and why they're doing it. So how people can always get a hold of you and still become sponsors? Like this is open for a while yet?
We are happy to help any sponsor. There is no more tables left, however, but we do have media splash packages and stuff available as well. We are doing yet another 42 Live, but it will be closer to you. So those that maybe are interested in something next year, we will be in Edmonton for July 10th of 2024. So we are definitely looking for sponsors for next year. We found a couple places where we can smoke inside, just like we're going to do this year. So it'll be really interesting to move to a new province. That's for sure.
Well, and for me, it's great because then I'm not having to drive to Vancouver. You guys are having to fly up here.
That is very true. Though I might actually drive up. I finally got my truck to the condition I like it at.
And that's good. Having a reliable vehicle always helps. So, Ajia, are you going to be coming to any other events? Like, let's see, what other stuff are you working on out there?
Well, 5 children's a lot of work.
Come on. The wife, her mom had 7, right?
Oh, my goodness. Your mom's a very tough cook if she had 7 of you. Oh, my goodness.
Well, see, she taught the first one how to take care of the second one. Okay.
Gotcha. Well, that's maybe something I should consider. I like that idea.
Well, it frees your time up because then you're not having to actually babysit.
I suppose, yeah. Plans outside that, I'm actually just busy working on pot fights. I also have the 420 Cup that's happening in Vancouver on April 19th of 2024. And then we have the 42 Live again, but in Edmonton for July 10th, 2024. So strangely enough, those parties actually take up a lot of work, plus the kids. So that kind of swallows up my time in my world, to be honest. But outside of that, just, I guess, crafting, doing stuff with my kids, watching shows, making some of these fun masks with my daughter. I don't even know if you can see these in the background, but
not really.
There's some of them up there.
And we still can't really see them, but that's all right. Yeah, Ajia, we were talking about before the show that you've set up an area for your daughter to create these masks. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Here, this is what I'll do is I'll move you there so you can possibly see it. Let's see.
Okay.
So here's one. So this was just like green foam, like just layers of green foam, and she's crafted it into this wolf mask. And then she dressed up like Toad at school recently, so she made this toadstool hat, which was pretty cool. And I don't remember what this from. I think it's called Five Nights at Freddy's, but she did that one as well. But yeah, she was getting all of her stuff all over the house, and I was finding fuzz in her kitchen, and I was like, oh, time for this girl to get her own little crafting space. I also have
Yeah.
like a sewing machine and a serger. Um, Funny enough, I'm also into this kind of stuff as well. Here's one that I had
Why
me.
does that not surprise me,
Yeah,
Asia?
I wonder where she gets it from me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, too
Yeah,
cool.
it's beautiful. And then I got them a couch, and we got them some tables and everything else so they can do all of their crafts in here. And the boys just like video games, so there's a couple gaming chairs and computer and high-speed internet set up for them.
Oh, fantastic.
But
And
this
yeah, you're here on a phone and you got high-speed internet beside you. How does that work?
well, I just had this computer fixed, so it would originally have Live or StreamYard, and it would have all of my apps and stuff in it, but I have to do it all over again. So
Yeah.
the kids just went home yesterday. That was the plan at some point today to put everything back on the computer. But yeah, there was something wrong with my hard drive, I think it was, but I had to
Yeah.
buy a new one. I don't know. I don't like throwing things away, so I'd rather fix it if I can. But there's a couple dents and stuff in it, but it's a good computer. I like it.
Well, exactly. And as long as it's for the kids, that's not your main computer. But
Funny enough,
yeah.
this is the main graphics computer. Yes, I put it down here because my daughter, as well as my kids, they like to make stuff. So this is what's responsible for the cry cut and making all the stuff we do for the 420 cup and the 42 live. So she likes
Okay.
doing, say, like paws or little eyes for her masks. She can print them right there, but she needs the fancy computer in order to make it work. So yes, I have fully entrusted them with this computer. If you break it, you just fix it.
Now, speaking of that kind of thing, what's the hat you're wearing? Is that a Save the Twerps hat or is that a Save the
This one's
Terps
a
hat?
Terps hat. I was wearing my Terps hat earlier, but yeah, this one's a Terps.
So where does a person get a Save the Twerps hat, Asia? Is that on they get that through Three Happy Cats or
I guess you'd have to ask me personally because I've never actually sold them. You had to either earn it or have it gifted. This is sorry, I'm not even wearing the red one, but there was only one red one, and then there was two little ones, but my children own them.
Well, and the thing is, we're mentioning a serger. So couldn't you actually do a lot of stuff yourself?
I don't have an embroidery machine. However,
Okay.
I could do it by hand. I have thought about getting an embroidery machine. One step at a time.
And hey, you're the one saying I don't have enough time to do stuff, and then you're trying to put more work on yourself, though.
But instead of embroidering it, my kids' hats, they're done with iron-on and vinyl.
Ah, okay.
So they have Save the Twerps in vinyl, where the one I have is embroidered, but that's easily done. In fact, we did all of the hoodies and all of the hats for the 42 Live by hand at this house, just not in this shop. So we had no shop. We did it in the kitchen. So this time it's much easier to do all the bags and everything for the cup. But this whole corner, I have my own bench and table. All of my tools are down here. It's really nice.
So do you actually use an iron, or are you using a heat press, or?
For the hats, I use an iron. It's much easier. Just because hats are normally curved, right? So it's kind of need something to kind of go around. In fact, my favorite tool for a hat is actually a flat iron for your hair.
Okay. Yeah.
But it works.
Now, Silly Lily is saying, Save the Twerps. There is a story behind that.
Yes, there is. So for about 2 months, there was Bovida and Golden Coast and Scallywag and Medman and you name it. There was stuff everywhere. And they were Save the Terps everywhere. And my kids were at one point kind of getting upset. Mom's making all these shirts and all this stuff for everybody, but we don't get a shirt. And
where's my stuff?
Right? So they were being little twerps, they were being a little bit annoying about it. So finally I was like, all right, well, we'll figure something out. And then my son's bugging me. I finally got a hat from John. He's like, what's your hat say? What's your hat say? I'm like, I can't tell him it says Terps. And I don't know. I was like, it says save the twerps. He's like, oh, well, what's a twerp? And I'm like, a little annoying thing. He's like, that's me. I'm a twerp.
Hey, pick
I
me,
was
pick
like,
me.
yeah, that is Yuki. So he went home to his dad and he said, oh, my mom's been saving the twerps. Da 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 da. So we made them a little hat, both him and Fox, a shirt and a hat that said "Save the Twerps" and a couple pairs of pants, and that's how it started. So they think we're saving the twerps, and sure, we'll go with that.
Actually, when you think about it, Asia, we're saving both.
I suppose, right? Because
Yeah.
they definitely need us to do fun things and innovative things to make money to keep them alive and supported. So sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about, because hey, the kids are our future, right? So
They sure are. And you know what? It's a lot more fun when my kids are involved, and that's why I brought all of
yeah,
these tools together. Like I said, the sewing machine, the serger is right there for them to use at their discretion. The full graphics computer is here to use at their discretion. The cry cut, everything. It's all here. The stamps, everything crafty is here. They just have to come down, open the drawer, and go for it.
exactly.
And it's
Yeah,
really nice because they've got a table where no one has to disturb it. Because we were doing it in our kitchen, right? Got to clear off the table, have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner. They could leave their project. It's safe. And we've actually been doing a lot of cool stuff in here. I'm pretty happy. And we
well, and
found
that,
all of the megaphones. So there's that too.
oh, got to have the stereo system. That's the first thing a guy thinks of is stereo systems and sound. You know,
This is what we found.
cool.
Here we go, this way.
We needed that at the last 420 live event. We think we needed a couple of those megaphones. The sound system went down a couple of different times.
It did, it really did. But we'll have a fun space for 420 next year. It'll be interesting. I'm not
Cool,
sure how
cool.
420 is going to play out next year because, as I was telling you before we got on air, July 1st, they were sending cops, like lots of cops. They
Yeah.
actually arrested someone and charged him. Whether they're going to convict him or not, I don't know. But they got really pushy, really weird, and I don't know if that attitude is going to keep going on. But the CSU was there. They were handing out tickets. They were handing out warnings. They were telling everybody to pack their stuff up and go. And I feel like this is going to be the norm, is that kind of attitude. So I wish everyone luck on 420 next year. We're partying the night before the chaos breaks out.
Okay.
But yeah, at one point the police on July 1st, they actually swarmed one of the guy's tables and did a clear motion with their arms.
Holy.
And the crowd stopped them. But apparently this is normal. I don't live down there anymore, so I don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to see it. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening in any way. We're dealing with a bloody plant. This is just ridiculous.
I agree. When I first joined politics in 2010, it was completely illegal unless it was for medicinal purposes. I
Yeah.
got my medical marijuana in 2013. But while doing that, they managed to pass a couple laws, which I was part of the team with the federal and provincial NDP at the time. But a lot of those laws were kind of like misconstrued, if that makes sense. Because normally when you write a policy, it has to be approved, right? And maybe certain wording isn't accepted, so they reword it and rewrite it until it's finally like been butchered so many times it has been put back on the slab as is. And I feel like a lot of those things just need to be readdressed. We need to go back, kind of pick apart what it was left as, and put it together in a less aggressive way. Because like there's just too many rules, I think, attached to it. I mean, if you can brew a little bit of wine in your basement and sell it and trade it and exchange it, you should be able to do the same thing with this.
Yes.
So I actually went back to politics. I rejoined last summer. I went and joined the BC NDP at Forward in the Okanagan, which was super beautiful. I have managed to get my easy code so that I can go to Ontario and be there for the federal NDP convention this year, which I'm super excited about. But yeah, I think that revision of those laws is overdue, and I know that the feds are doing their own kind of revision of certain laws, and they're actually cracking down on like taxes being owed versus coming up with like solutions to some of the problems we're looking at. They just kind of want to line their pockets. But
Yeah, but that's always been the way.
I'm definitely thinking that, you know, getting reconnected with politics, and as more people, you know, start coming out of the COVID cloud, that perhaps they may follow in the same footsteps. It doesn't necessarily have to be the NDP. It could be a liberal, conservative, Green Party. You know, like all of those parties have some sort of stance on cannabis, and the only way to relax the laws we have now is if we all step forward. And it's been over a decade. It's time to get back to work. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But,
and they've been cracking down way too much on too many things that they shouldn't be cracking down to. Like I've actually looking at going back to what we're doing to get it legalized medically is almost where we need to go back to and do a reset at that point and move forward now that we have all the data. But yeah, when it comes down to it, Asia, if we're not writing the law, if we're letting them write the law, we're doing a disservice to what we're trying to accomplish. We actually, I think, have to write the law itself, the contract law that they follow, and then submit it to these people and go, okay, here, sign on to this. All the work's been done for you.
right, and the only way to actually achieve that is to create party infiltration. And I don't mean the like unlawful kind where a bunch of conservatives go join the Liberal Party. I mean like a whole bunch of normal people that would never normally put their water or their feet in that water jump in.
Yeah.
And I mean honestly, anybody can be involved in politics. You don't have to have a suit, you don't have to have a degree. You just have to have an idea or a want or a wish. And all you have to
And
do
a
is
voice.
show up and participate. And your voice is equal to everyone's at those conventions. Your
Yeah.
voice has a really cool platform to work with. And if enough of us stepped up, then a lot of these injustices within the laws we see today, we could just squash it by changing it, by editing those policies and those laws. And it
Changing the
doesn't take a lot of
contract.
work. It just takes showing up.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Well,
have
and it takes enough of us showing up to make the changes because the majority it does rule at these conventions.
Of
So if
course.
our voices are the majority, then we're going to move in the direction we want to move in.
Right, and that's something that people don't realize when they're looking at politics as a whole. They don't understand that it's really a lot of participation. You know, and if the person you're voting for, whoever you know that is holding that torch for your ideas and your wants, doesn't show up, well, then your bill's not going to pass. Your policy's never going to make it past the being written, and it won't go any further. You know.
Yeah.
And it's interesting some of the stuff that you see when you get to an actual convention and some of the laws people are trying to pass. Like my first convention ever, I watched people just trying to get running water to parts of Canada. And I was like, there's parts of Canada doesn't have running water? I'm like, since when? And they're like, oh, it's been going on for 25 years. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll come help you with your policy. Like, that's insane. You
Yeah.
learn a whole bunch of stuff that you just didn't know was going on. I was kind of shocked. Ontario at the time, I do this is like a decade ago. These young men came from all the way from Ontario to Vancouver to pass a policy to end straight camps, and I was like, straight camps? That's a thing? Yes, of course I will come help you pass this policy. And then it's just an interesting experience. Looking at politics as a whole, people go, you know, there's the backdoor handshake. Well, that's how politics work. And it's not even a back door. It's you're standing in a hallway and you're like, yes, Canadians should definitely have fresh water. No kids should not be forced to be straight. Yes, we want people to not have to deal with criminal repercussions by having small amounts of marijuana. And you band together. You literally like fist pump in a circle and you go to all the different parts and you vote it in. It's not a secret. It's what you do in order to get it passed. But if enough of people show up, you don't have to stand in a hallway and fist pump. You're just ready to go. You just take over and make those things a reality.
Well, and really,
it's a
we
crazy
got to
thing.
become the politicians if we want the laws really to be in our favor.
Well, the politician's just one person. Who's the person writing it? Who are the people passing it? Bring it to where it's at. It takes hundreds of people. That
Yeah.
politician's just a face. They're the the platform for all of those ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, we should really get it. I hate talking politics and religion because then you can get into a lot of trouble. So
That's
anyway,
very
let's
true.
get back to pot fights. Okay. So what else
Well,
can
pot
we
fights is
expect
kind of
at
like
pot fight?
politics, right? We have people that are in the legal area that are, got beefs for this reason and that reason. We got people in the legacy area doing the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's all like about politics in the end. It doesn't really matter what side you're on. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got something they're fighting for.
And that's what pot fights is about.
It's about bringing all those fights hopefully to an end so we can all sit in the same room and just enjoy ourselves again. Because there was a huge fight there. The group that we used to have, we were one big whole, and then we separated because part of our group became part of the legal industry, and part of our group tried to become part of the legal industry, and they phased out, and some of the legacy just phased out, and some of the legacy stayed in tune. So
Yeah.
had this big separation of everybody, and the hope is to just bring back what's left of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the when it was all about the medical side of it and the patients, etc., and not about the money side, it was more of the community, and that's what we're trying to bring back in is that community that helped to get the laws changed and helped to bring this forward and out to the people. And that's what pot fights is really about. It's bringing the community in Vancouver back together the way that we need them to be able to make the changes we need to make have changed. And I went back to politics. Damn it. Because really that's what it boils down to get the laws changed. We have to get involved and get the education out to more people. That's where I put this channel or network basically together with all the different shows
I want to show you
teaching.
something while we're talking.
Okay.
Just I actually joined politics on a whim. It was
Okay.
really so a friend of mine comes up to me one day and he's like, listen, there's some really crazy pot laws that are going on right now. He's like, I need a team to show up right now and help me change this law. I was like, dude, I failed social studies. He's like, get in the car.
Get your ass over here.
Get in the car. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I get in the car and all of these laws that we were trying to pass. And
Yeah.
it's like I said, I met these young men that wanted straight camps abolished. And I met some other people from none of it. They wanted fresh water because their water system literally just froze in wintertime. So there was no more fresh water. They'd have to
Yeah.
go and dig out snow, melt it down. And I was like, for real? That's crazy. But yeah, like I went on many adventures. I ended up actually with a full-time job with the federal NDP and the provincial NDP. It took over 2 years of my life
Yeah.
after this like whim of an experience. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Politics is for everyone. It's so easy and just pick whatever team seems to match you the best and hop in.
Exactly. Like I always tell people, listen to many voices, pick the one that resonates with you and listen to that voice.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that's 12 years of in and out of politics. Um,
Cool.
yeah, and it was super fun because my friends like pick whatever team you want. I'm hoping you pick my team, but there's four good ones, and so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
laughed.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's you guys got laws changed. You got things done for the better. Have they got water in fresh water in Nunavut again or what?
They did end up getting their policy, yes, which is super great. It took about 3 years for it to finally go through, and they got the fresh water. But
Cool.
it comes up crazy enough sometimes in bottles, but that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, there's only so many times of the year that you can get a ship into Nunavut. And so you're looking at trucking it, you're looking at going over the ice roads, etc. So yeah, it's not easy, but why aren't we putting a plant in for them to make their own fresh water?
It's been a while since I checked in. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that has happened since then. You know what?
Cool.
I probably should check in just for curiosity's sake. Um, hmm. There's a lot of things that are going on in our country where, once the topic was kind of addressed, I kind of lost touch with it, if that makes sense.
Yes, actually, I understand that 199%. Yeah.
One issue that was happening up north that was quite interesting is they didn't have a recycling program. And they were still trying to sort that out when I was dealing with it. I kind of lost track of that as well, but they had no way to recycle glass. You just threw it in a big pit that was on fire.
Yeah. What they used to do in the old days.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's when you live in such a remote location as that, it becomes a very complicated mess very quickly.
It can, yes, that's for sure. I saw some of those piles when I was up in the Yukon, and they're like chunks of like molten glass and garbage all like mushed together from these fire pits, and I can't imagine what that's like to clean up after it's done. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I worked in the oil and gas industry for a while, and we were putting together fracking or oh geez, I can't even remember the right term, but anyway, it's burns everything, right? And it would be going out to every single camp, so all the garbage could be burnt. So it wasn't affecting. They weren't putting it into the pits; they were just burning it all. That looked like it was pretty good. Yeah, yeah.
That one, the peanut.
Peanut butter breath.
Go smoke your nasty cigarettes elsewhere. Tori,
Yeah, you're only 4 days into it, okay?
I'm in the shop, but this is for the kids and stuff, and we've been sneaking joints. But I've gone 4 days without smoking a cigarette, and he lit a cigarette in here, and I was like, no. And I like moved him out of the shop. I was like, you're not torturing me today, buds.
Okay, guys, remember that. No smoking cigarettes around Asia, okay?
At this point, like, I'll probably lose my mind. Poor Kevin. Fresh Hashco's in the house. He's been helping me with a bunch of stuff. Flew out, came to visit. Day 2 and not smoking. I practically try and eat him. He's like, is it safe yet? No, okay. Close the door.
It's like the olden days. I'm out with the wood pile.
As long as she's not chasing you around the house with the baseball bat, you're fairly safe right now.
It's been 4 days, no smoking. But yeah. Well,
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
that smokes around me, I just kind of make this face like, do you want to die next?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it passes. I've done this once before, but definitely the first 2 weeks are a bit rough. And then it gets better.
Yeah. Are you going to do another Mom's Cup this year, or is that on hold?
That was it. That was the last Mom Cup ever.
Okay. Okay.
And we're moving forward with the 42 Live and the 420 Cup. So we'll do one annual 42 Live and one annual 420 Cup. The 420 Cup will stay in Vancouver, and the 42 Live will travel out until it reaches the end of Canada and then eventually migrate back home, hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into that. That's basically the idea that John had for years, was to take events back and forth across Canada, and I think all of them should have a biological component or living soil component, teaching people how to grow their own medicine, as well as their own food, so we're getting the most vibrant and healthy of both food and medicine.
I definitely think that learning how to grow the plant and how to use it's important. We used to do videos, like educational videos, on how to make your own medicine, and I definitely love to get back to that. Speaking of that, have you ever heard of a plant wave?
A plant wave? No.
Okay. It won't be teaching us anything, but we'll be able to hear the pot plants when I put on the plant wave at the party. So we'll be able to hear what the sounds of the plant.
Okay.
And perhaps maybe you could step in and teach us a little bit about the living soil and how to grow it. I think that'd be a fun combo.
Not a problem. I'd love to do it. It's the so somebody's recorded the waveform coming off of the cannabis plant,
No, you literally hook the cannabis plant up to the machine, and then you
right?
turn it on, and then it reads the electrical waves in music notes.
Cool. You gotta. Did they do that for other plants, or somebody
All
developed this
plants.
specifically for all plants? Yeah.
As long as it can contain an electrical current, it will read it.
Cool. I wonder how that would affect if you were playing that music back to the plant. If it would, how much it would affect your grow. Do you know? Has anybody talked to you about doing that?
I've never even used the device before. Heisenherb was one of our sponsors, and they showed me this video of someone doing it with a completely different plant. And I
Right.
was like, because we are talking about what are we doing for music? Normally we have live performances. We're just doing the two songs, and then we decided that DJ Scallywag and DJ Medman were our artists for the pot fights. It's actually really elegant music. It's really pretty. It's kind of like, ever heard of Bonobo or Emancipator?
Mm-hmm. Well,
It's
it's
really,
nature.
really
It's the
sweet.
plant we
Yeah.
love. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal to be able to hear the plant actually talk to us. Is totally a new level.
And it also seems to speak differently to you when it's being watered. And if the water is cool or dark, if it's hot, um,
Yeah.
the tone kind of, I think the right term would be deeper when it's warm, and then it's like more high pitched when it's cool. And of course, the faster you pour it in, it seems the faster it causes the plant to flutter and make noise. So it's really interesting. But yeah, it goes really deep when the water is warm.
Cool. Huh.
Pretty
Yeah.
excited for that.
See, this is brand new to me. I haven't even considered it. So, yeah, I think that's a phenomenal idea. Like, I know one gentleman, they were talking about he was growing with electricity. Putting so many milliamps into his plants, and growing in that methodology. And electricity is just another waveform.
For sure.
So, yeah, it's very interesting to me.
Woo. This
That
joint
was
is
a good one.
incredible. And I've lost it.
That stuff's a little dry.
This one's actually pretty good. It's got like a really strong like THC content to it. Like
Okay.
I get really fucking high off this one. Like I mean, this one's good too. It's also got that spongy thing to
Yeah.
it, but not as high of THC.
You'll have to one of these days try Mr. Toad's oh geez, what's he call it? Oh my goodness, he's gonna smack me.
Is Mr. Toad coming?
Today, right now? No.
No, to pot fights.
No, unfortunately. Remember, he's only got one leg and half of his intestines hang on the outside of his body, and he's got a sick mom. So
Gotcha.
mom's much more important for him to stay with mom and take care of mom.
No, that's totally fair.
One hitter quitter is what the strain is called. This man that smokes a lot of weed, he smokes that, he goes to sleep. He'll go to sleep on screen, okay, during a podcast if he smokes too much of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's a
room is
man that's
getting
been
full.
breeding for 40 years, right? So he knows what he's got his sweet spot is that. And when you need that pain relief, that's the one you grab. It's like John's got one, the one he grabs, his Medi Kush. Now he's got the Medi Lights and some other strains off of her now. And actually, I believe Burfello is one of your sponsors for the pot fights as well, isn't he?
He is. So the seeds you're going to find inside our kits this time is from Burfello brand, which is really exciting.
Cool.
This is one of my go-tos. It's got a purple element to it. Like when you break it up, it's actually like got a purple look to the bud, which is really cool. Another one I really like is candy cane, but I haven't been able to find that in a while.
Okay. Yeah, I've never
So I
even
need
heard
ones to
candy cane.
smack you in the face. They got to be really like heavy hitters, high THC,
Mm-hmm.
nothing gentle, no sativas.
Well, you don't want to just kick back and relax and have couch lock. You want to get up and do things.
Well, funny enough, that smack in the face with the high THC, that gets me to get up and do things.
Yeah. Well, and
My
that's what I
pain is
mean.
so high. Yeah, so I just need that. Can't even think about the pain. I'm good for a couple hours. Go back, maybe smoke another one.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you do a lot of dabs, or do you smoke more weed for your pain relief?
I probably should do dabs. Everyone is.
That's an infused joint.
I do that though, where I put like the dabs and stuff in my joints. I know you waste a
Yeah.
lot of the THC by smoking joints, but I just like joints. I don't really like doing dabs. I don't really like the whole pain in the ass of potentially burning myself with a torch. I finally did get myself like this cool torch for my 27th birthday, I think it was, and I leaned over onto the table, and
Mm-hmm.
my finger like became attached to this e-nail, and I had to like rip it away.
Oh.
Nail, and then that was it. I was completely turned off from dabs, like for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame you that I've seen people with hot knife scars on their faces. Okay. Yeah. From
I'm
the
already
old hash
dangerous as it
days.
is.
That's
Yeah.
from malpractice.
Fresh Hash Co says that's malpractice.
Back in the 80s, man, we had a table where we used to play euchre when I lived in Ontario. And we had the knives in stands, and we had the torch in the stand. And we did so many, ounces of hash. Yeah,
Oh,
just
I bet.
phenomenal. Yeah,
I
with
was
hot knives.
horrible when I first got my hash maker with the ice.
Yeah.
We would sit down and like smoke ounce after ounce of hash to the point where I was like, okay, I'm out of flour. I need to do something now.
Yeah.
I actually
Oh,
made
yeah.
good enough hash that I won second place at the Kush Cup here. So I guess we're getting down to a couple minutes left. Here, I'll show you these. I throw my keys around on the floor. Guys are laughing at me. I'm a mess.
Cool.
This is the one I won for hash.
Right on.
But that was the year where it got crazy, and I was like, okay, I've smoked like 6 ounces of hash. I need to do something now. I was like, but there's one more ounce. We're just putting it into the cup instead of smoking and go back to work.
Cool.
I've got Prairie Medicinal Harvest Cup, the original Mom Cup, Kush Cup. Those were fun days when it was all underground.
Yeah.
There was no difference between legacy and what have you.
Yep. And it's an unfortunate thing, but that's why we're doing the event in Vancouver, and that's in September. September 1st, I believe, is the date.
September 1st at 2026 43rd Ave in Vancouver. And it's the
BC,
Victoria,
Canada, guys.
BC, Canada. That's right, because I guess there's a Vancouver in Washington, isn't there?
There's also
And it's not that far away. It's only about a 3-hour drive from the one Vancouver to the other Vancouver.
Yeah, I know. I've actually driven past it once. I'm going to close this door, guys. It is frozen. Oof.
You're having a heat wave?
No, having a frozen wave. It is raining out, and we're all smoking joints. I've got Cindy Howell from Nova Scotia here. We've got Richard Davey. We've got Fresh Hash Co. all huddled up in blankets because it's getting cold.
ready for the 38 next week.
But at least you can smoke there, right?
Next week, we'll see.
So, what else is new and exciting for events that you know of that other people are going to be putting on, Asia? Do you know of anything else that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know them personally, but the Unicorn Cup is a really good one. Everyone talks about it. I see lots of great photos. Everyone that's been is like, dude, it is the place to go.
Yeah.
There's been a couple cups that just passed that were really great. One of them being an LP cup, that was the Karma Cup. Those ones were only specific though to like that province, that place. Same with the Unicorn Cup, you got to physically go there.
Yeah.
And then my apologies, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's one in Edmonton. I don't remember if it was, or was it Calgary? Oh my goodness, it's coming up real quick.
Pine Lake has the Camp Can. I'm actually speaking at it on Sunday.
That's the one. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and we have actually a golf tournament coming up in September through the Micro Association. So I'll be having those guys on here over the next few weeks to come and talk about that. But that's in Pigeon Lake sometime in September, I think 14th or 15th or something like that.
Another great event, which isn't really pot related, is the Vines to Veins tour, and that will be the Vancouver show on August 4th. If anyone doesn't have a ticket, I will see you there. Maybe that'd be great. I have my tickets. I'm pretty excited. It's
Cool,
at
cool.
Soundhouse. Those are our guys
Okay.
that are performing for the 420 Cup next year, and I really, really like their music, so I'm excited to get a chance to see them before I have to actually work.
Yes,
Don't really
so
get
you can
to enjoy
actually
it when you're
enjoy the
working.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 420 Cup went by so quickly. It was like, boom, I'm there. Boom, we're in the middle of it. Boom, it's over. I was like, wow, that was the fastest 6 hours of my life.
And it was so much fun, though.
It was. I finally got a chance to watch us do the whole thing. I was like, wow, we're super fun.
Yeah,
I told
yeah. And
Sterling to get on
Gordon
his
sang.
knees. What's wrong with me?
We've got
Did you hear me
Puff
do
Puff
that?
Pass near Edmonton, August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Gordon,
Ooh.
reach out to me and give me some more details on that.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some people in the house from Edmonton. They'd probably like something fun and pot related, that's for sure. You guys heard of Puff Puff Pass in Edmonton, August 4th, 5th, and 6th?
Yes, that's the one I'm doing.
Oh, we got someone. Cindy's going to Puff Puff Pass that
Cool.
weekend. So there we go. Is there anything else that's happening this summer that we know of?
I'm not sure.
Anybody?
How about Ontario? Did you talk to the guy in Ontario in Cambridge
yeah.
doing the Green Gold Games?
So
He's
there's
got a
the
new
Green Gold
date
Games
out.
as well. Remind me of the dates again, Ken.
Actually, he just released the dates, and I don't have them written down yet, so I can't.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so much, and this is how we get the community together and get the education out and try to build in the right direction, for all of it. So that's what the dream is anyway.
Right. Everybody gets together, have some fun. That's for sure.
Yeah. And Camp Canada is just an open smoking, and they're gonna have yoga and a lot like the Green Gold Games. They have little things that you do, like you're having the pot or the joint rolling, the pillow fights, same kind of idea. Just everybody get together and enjoy life.
Right, because we did spend a few years just kind of hiding away because of COVID, and then we spent a couple of years just scrambling because legalization left us without partnerships and friendships and businesses and jobs, and it's been kind of a 4-year scramble, and here we are.
Yeah. And guys, if you want to go to pot fights, you can get on Facebook, the Three Happy Cats. And Ajia, you got more information on there. You've got your Instagram up there as well, guys. So, if you're going to be around Vancouver,
free to come, guys. So bring your friends. Just show up. Doors open at 4:00. We're gonna have a 420 smoke out at 4:20 and start everything off from there.
Yes.
And I'm going to be there, guys. So, you can come down and give me a hard time too.
And if you can't afford to have snacks with the rest of us, there's no rules. You're more than welcome to bring juice and lunch or whatever you need. It's just the whole idea is to have fun. But certainly if you want to have food, Rachel is catering to all of us. And there is space for 400 of us inside and about 20 of us on the outside. What a great number. So that's
How'd you
420
manage
people get
that?
to party.
Yeah. How did you manage that one, Asia? I mean, like that's
Just
beautiful.
magic. I don't know. It's just magic.
It all just fell together. I'm sure of it.
It did. It certainly
Yeah.
did. We looked at a few spaces. They were definitely really open to having a super happy-go-lucky, a much older group of people. But I mean, I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so.
I'm not going to say a thing. The guy with the gray beard is not going to say anything about spring chickens anymore. Yeah.
I just died over that stuff. You just don't know it's there.
Yeah. Well, 5 kids, Asia. I mean, come on. You're going to have
I
a
actually
couple.
went out for dinner and I saw a picture with this side is shaved, right? So look how white it is on that side, Ken. And then
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the dyed side, the funky, curly, funky side.
And Lily
Isn't
says the
that
Green Gold
crazy?
Games, guys, is August 25th and 26th in Cambridge, Ontario. If you guys are down in Ontario.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, Asia, it's been a pleasure having you on, talking about a whole bunch of different events and cannabis, your event in particular. We're going to have you on more often to talk about, if you do get back into politics, what's going on, not necessarily party affiliations, but where's the movements, who's the ones in politics that are pro-cannabis and from whatever party.
You'd be surprised how many people are actually pro-cannabis. And then there's a few people that shock you that aren't so pro-cannabis. You're like, where'd that come from? I find that, though, when you're in bigger areas, so if you're in like a bigger population, you'll find more people are more accepting. Where I find in smaller communities, they may not be as accepting of cannabis. But I mean, that thing is kind of changing too, right? A lot of the taboo's been removed by just saying, hey, it's legal. Which is super fun. That's right. A lot of the times in the past, we were kind of just like, oh crap, there's this huge taboo stuck to this. And if we try and like go any further with the conversation, it would like shut down other things in our lives. Like in some cases for me, it was like I shut down the avenue to like rent a house or get a cell phone or whatever, which was super fucking crazy on its own. That's another story. Getting back to actual politics, once you sign up for your fees, that's it. Like you are in politics. Mind you, it's nice if you show up to the actual meetings, help write the policies, show up to convention, have your words heard. But being a politician really is as simple as just paying your $10 for the year. And if you don't make enough money, you literally get it for free. Yes, the stigma is still alive. It certainly isn't as aggressive as it once was. For instance, I was actually kicked out of a bunch of major banks because I did run a cannabis magazine and I did run a dispensary. Strangely enough, one of those major banks that banned me for life has actually brought me back as a customer. And that's the reason why I'm able to say that some of those stigmas are gone. For instance, like I have younger children on top of having older children. The difference between me raising my 18-year-old as a child smoking pot and raising my youngest one now and smoking pot, those parents, don't seem to care. Where there were certain people's parents that just wouldn't allow the kids to, hang out on the basis that I was a pot smoker. So some of those, I guess, deep impacting stigmas seem to be slowly coming undone. There's always going to be that odd person that, almost every stigma is going to trigger them as well. We saw that at Cannabis Day on July 1st, the older gentleman that just could not bear the fact that we were smoking pot in a public space. He was quite irate about it. And yes, that stigma will probably stick with him until his death day.
And well, the one good thing is, the people that were 8 years old, it's been 10 years, they're hitting the 18 years old where it has been legal the bulk of or over the majority of their life. And because of that, it's that next generation that's really going to be able to help us make changes.
Absolutely. And they don't understand that stigma because they've just never had it. And it's kind of
Exactly.
to see that with my teenager because she's like, well, you know, I realize she's 18, but in Alberta that's legal. So there's people that are buying it right now legally in their province. And then I know I have stepkids that are now older that can also do the same thing. So they don't get the whole buying it from a guy on the street corner, trying not to get caught. They go to a cannabis store.
Yeah.
The whole idea of going to a drug dealer is like, why would you do that? That sounds crazy. That's like buying booze off of a stranger. I'm like, not really.
But they don't
That's how
know.
we grew
They
up.
don't
What do
know.
you
They
mean?
never had to live that life.
Right. So the
At
stigma
least
will
in
eventually
Canada.
also just die out because it just won't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, AJ, it's an hour, so I'm going to end the show. If you want to stick around, we can chat later or after the show. But guys, we've got Andy Lopez on Wednesday, Gardens the Untold Story. Then we've got Luna with I better get the right name, Benjamin from Acadia Farms, Shay LeBlanc from Rosebud Farms, the guy that started the Unicorn Music Festival, because it's not the Unicorn Cup, it's the Unicorn Music Festival now on Friday on the Dem Pure sessions. So check you guys out, and of course back on Monday with the OGs in the morning. So peace out, guys, and we'll see you in a couple of days.